Shen Yunzhi was once lost in the fog of love. She mistook a scumbag for her true love, but she severely injured Runze, who was sincere to her. However, fate gave her a chance to come back again. In this life, she was determined to use all her love to make up for her past mistakes. After hearing what her father-in-law and mother-in-law said, Shen Yunzhi's eyes turned red with emotion. How could she have met such a good family? Now I don't feel like there is too much food in front of me. It's all full of love. Shen Yunzhi decided to eat all the dishes Runze gave her. Runze looked at Shen Yunzhi eating like a little hamster at the moment, as if she would eat whatever he gave her without hesitation. Eat, baby, slowly, no one will compete with you. Shen Yunzhi probably realized that he was a little excited, and then he remembered to pay attention to his image. Today's dishes are all delicious. Lin Wanni's eyes suddenly lit up when she heard what Shen Yunzhi said. If it's delicious, eat more. You and A's, don't go back tonight. Just stay here. I'll ask Auntie to make delicious food for you tomorrow. After finally coming back for a meal, she wanted to keep the young couple here overnight even if they were tied up. Runze would now understand his mother's intention. Qing was here to steal his wife. Okay mom, can we stay here today? Aze, can he still refuse now? He couldn't refuse anything Shen Yunzhi wanted. Okay, it's all up to you. Shen Yunzhi actually has selfish motives for staying here. She is not blind and can see the look in Runze's eyes that wants to eat meat. He should restrain himself if he stays in the old house. Runze didn't think so. Although his mother, Ms. Lin Wanni, did not give birth, there was no conflict with her assisting the relationship between husband and wife. Besides, even if he lives in the old house, he can still come and go as he pleases. Thinking about this, Runze could hardly wait for dark. After dinner, Shen Yunzhi walked with Lin Wanni for a while, and Lin Wanni suddenly suggested drinking some wine. Shen Yunzhi was also afraid that she would be embarrassed if she drank too much, so she didn't agree. It was unbearable that Lin Wanni kept pestering her for a drink. Xiaoji, I am getting older. Since I got married and had children, my freedom has become less and less. I worry about this family all the time. Thinking that I finally have a daughter-in-law who can accompany me, I also want to be wild. When Shen Yunzhi heard these words, she couldn't say any words of rejection. But she didn't see Lin Wanni's sly smile. After all, Fu Ting doted on her so much, how could she not even drink? Mom, you are so kind to me. I will honor you throughout my life. Looking at Shen Yunzhi's red face, Lin Wanni completely suspected that the little girl was drunk, but she looked so cute and couldn't help but want to tease her. Xiaoji, when did you start to like A's? Although she no longer doubted Shen Yunzhi's feelings for Runze, people were always curious, especially about their own sons. I was so stupid that I never noticed my own heart. This caused us to miss it. No, you and A's didn't miss each other. So you have liked him a long time ago? Yes. It's very early, so early that I don't even know it. Runze suddenly walked up behind Shen Yunzhi and picked her up. Mom, drink slowly here. I'll take my baby away first. When Shen Yunzhi said that she had liked him for a long time, he couldn't help it at all. He wanted to kiss her, sleep with her, and wanted to sleep with her so much. Baby, thank you for liking me. Shen Yunzhi was so dizzy from being kissed that she finally had a chance to breathe. A's, I like you so much. I got it, baby. It's time to eat. Let me in. By the time Shen Yunzhi woke up, it was already past 10 in the morning. She rubbed her waist with her hands, wishing she could run away from Runze immediately. Obviously she had been begging him for mercy last night, but he was getting more and more excessive, even using that gesture. Shen Yunzhi's face was still red when he thought about it. By the way, she was in Fu's house now, and she had already slept until past 10 o'clock. It was really outrageous. When Shen Yunzhi was thinking about how to face this family, Runze walked in. Baby, can you get up and drink some water? Runze brought the warm water in his hand to her lips and slowly fed her. Shen Yunzhi was indeed thirsty, and her voice became hoarse last night. Thinking of this, Shen Yunzhi turned pale again and gave Runze a look. Okay, I know the baby has worked hard, I will pay attention next time. Runze seemed to be shameless. By the way, my second aunt and some other relatives came to the old house today. His relatives came to the old house. Shen Yunzhi touched his waist. What a sin, when will they come? She thought that if they came late, she could prepare in advance, and she wouldn't feel embarrassed or anything, but as Fu Runze's wife, she still had to pay attention to her image. It's been a while. As soon as he finished speaking, Shen Yunzhi choked on her drink of water. Fu Runze patted her back gently. Don't worry, we are all adults and they all understand. Shen Yunzhi is about to collapse now. Although she is old enough to be an elder and has experienced what she should have experienced, she is still very shy. Don't be afraid, baby, they don't dare to embarrass you. Is this because I'm afraid they will embarrass me? Forget it, I don't understand even if I tell you. I have to get up quickly. Shen Yunzhi quickly got up and put on clothes, checked her appearance and asked Fu. After Runze confirmed that it was okay, he took a deep breath for a minute before walking to the door of the room. Baby, you seem like... Fu Runze couldn't help but want to laugh. Why was his child so cute? He really wanted to hide her so that he could only see her. What is it? You're not going too far. Shen Yunzhi didn't care to talk back to Fu Runze now. In short, she would have to face it sooner or later, and she had to be brave. But I heard that the people in the Fu family are very fierce. What should I do? She is so scared. Hey, this is Xiaofu's daughter-in-law? Come here and let me take a look. A woman sitting next to Lin Wani looked at Shen Yunzhi with a smile and stretched out her hand to call her over. Lin Wani introduced to Shen Yunzhi that she was Fu Runze's second aunt. She had always been very kind to Fu Runze and almost treated him as her own son. Seeing the woman's kind smile, Shen Yunzhi suddenly became less nervous at this moment. Hello, second aunt. Hello, uncles and aunts. Shen Yunzhi stood obediently and greeted the elders. I thought that there would always be one or two unruly and willful elders, but who would have thought that every elder would be gentle and elegant, and they looked at her with satisfaction. This must be Xiaofu's wife. If Xiaofu can find someone he likes, we elders will be satisfied. One of the elders started, and everyone else responded. Su Shi had never seen such a warm family, and Shen Yunzhi was also moved at this moment. Yes, in a good family, everyone is happy and happy. You can't just speculate on others because of your own family. Although the Fu family has a large family, it has never been like other wealthy families. They all hope to live in harmony. In addition, the Fu family has a huge business. Everyone in Fu Runze's generation has their own ambitions, let alone family wealth. The fight was a bloody one. Feeling the atmosphere of the Fu family, Shen Yunzhi truly felt the warmth of home. However, it stands to reason that although Fu Runze is vigorous and resolute in the mall, he is still very peaceful in private. However, he cannot explain clearly the paranoia of Shen Yunzhi. It seemed like something else might have happened to him. Moreover, in her previous life, Gu Yizhou said that Fu Runze was the one who saved her back then, and she wanted to find out. After Shen Yunzhi had dinner with the Fu family at the old house, she went back with Fu Runze. Although she felt that the elders in her old house took good care of her, it was always more comfortable to go back to her own home. Fu Runze's thoughts were even simpler. He wanted to live a two-person world with Shen Yunzhi, and his parents had been disturbing him for a whole day. He was already very generous. Fu Runze found Shen Yunzhi in the car looking out the window in a daze, and felt a little unhappy for a moment. Am I not good enough? Shen Yunzhi was thinking about something at this moment, but was suddenly interrupted by Fu Runze. What? She was so absorbed in her thoughts that she didn't hear what Fu Runze had just said. Shen Yunzhi looked at Fu Runze's face and understood that he was probably going to be angry now. Unexpectedly, he seemed to be a different person in the next second. Sister, what I did was not good enough. Why doesn't sister want to look at me? Shen Yunzhi's eyes suddenly opened wide at this moment, looking at Fu Runze in disbelief. Is this still the resolute Mr. Fu? At this moment, Fu Runze looked at Shen Yunzhi with wet eyes. She actually felt like she had a little puppy. Come on, give me a few more coaxes for my sister to hear. Fu Runze squinted his eyes and considered Shen Yunzhi. He felt that this little girl was starting to arouse him. Those 2 calls just now had already exceeded his limit. Don't even think about wanting him to scream now. Shen Yunzhi waited for a while and saw that Fu Runze did not respond. TSK, don't you want to be obedient? She told him to be good, elder sister. Sister, please don't look at other things from now on, okay? Sister, can you just look at me from now on? Looking at the tamed puppy, Shen Yunzhi suddenly felt that she would have something to control him in the future. As long as you are obedient, sister will obey you in everything. Shen Yunzhi was so complacent at this moment that she forgot that Fu Runze was still a wolf in essence. That's what you said. Baby, Fu Runze pulled Shen Yunzhi over and blocked her lips. Fu Runze's kiss this time was fierce and flirtatious, and Shen Yunzhi couldn't resist it at all. As soon as he got home, Fu Runze picked up Shen Yunzhi and walked to the bedroom. By the time she actually entered the bedroom, Shen Yunzhi was already naked. It wasn't until this moment that she realized that she was out of luck. She held her waist and said, "Aze, can you come less often? What do you think?" Fu Runze didn't care what Shen Yunzhi said at the moment. After all, his body had already begun to scream. After this lesson, Shen Yunzhi finally understood what it meant to be trapped in a cocoon. Even when Fu Runze called her sister later, she refused to respond. After all, life is important. Although she is completely willing to me in this regard, she still feels the need to exercise restraint. After all, it is really too much for her body to come to her every day. Shen Yunzhi just woke up in the morning and saw Fu Runze's perfect face facing her. "Morning, Aze." Fu Runze felt dissatisfied when he heard this title. "That's not what you called me last night. Can the situation be the same? Would she still be alive if I didn't call her last night?" She did find that since she followed Fu Runze more and more, Fu Runze was getting more and more aggressive. Just let him get it if he wants it, and just pamper him. "Morning, hubby." After hearing what he wanted to hear, Fu Runze nodded with satisfaction and placed another kiss on Shen Yunzhi's forehead. Shen Yunzhi now felt that it was really good for the two of them to live a peaceful life like this, but she was still a little uneasy, always afraid that these things were not true. "Husband, I have a small request. I wonder if you can satisfy it." She remembered that the two scumbags had not yet been resolved, so she was always uneasy. "You say?" Although Shen Yunzhi had promised to the Shen family that they would just stop bothering her, she had learned from the past and she still couldn't let go. Actually, Gui Zhou and Shen Yang did a lot of bad things. I hope they can receive the punishment they deserve. Shen Yunzhi said that there was unconcealable hatred in their eyes. Okay, I'll take care of this. But why did the baby suddenly remember them? Fu Runze never understood why Shen Yunzhi's attitude suddenly changed. Aze, I understand your doubts, but I didn't figure everything out overnight. You are very good, very, very good, so I have already fallen in love with you without knowing it. You don't need to question yourself. You are really good. Shen Yunzhi said so much in the hope that Fu Runze would understand that he is really a very good person. Even if he really doesn't like him, he does not have to deny himself. Because of this, his excellence, everyone sees success. What's more, how could I not like such a good person? Because I was so happy during this period, I always felt uneasy. I was afraid that Gui Zhou and the others would do something to cause another misunderstanding between us, so I understand. It turned out that Shen Yunzhi was afraid that he would misunderstand her. It seems that he didn't do a good enough job and didn't give his wife enough sense of security. But it doesn't matter. You are so happy for your wife if you pay for it, and no one else will understand. But now it's time for him to go to the company. He hasn't been to the company for several days. It's estimated that the guys have complained about it 10,000 times behind his back. Honey, if you're sleepy, just squint a little longer. It's time for me to go to the company. I'll be back as soon as I get off work. Fu Runze turned around every step of the way. He really didn't want to be separated from Shen Yunzhi. Hey, will anyone take over the Fu group? He just wants to hang out with his wife. Shen Yunzhi didn't know what Fu Runze was thinking. Anyway, she had already explained it to Fu Runze, so she felt much more at ease now. After all, she was quite at ease with Fu Runze's work. Her love life has been quite fruitful now, and it's time for her to start a serious career. I opened my account that I hadn't logged in for a long time, and I was still moved when I saw all the comments below. When will the author update? The author, please take good care of yourself. We are all waiting for your return. Looking at the sick leave she had taken before, she suddenly felt a little ashamed of her fans. Although it was indeed due to illness before, she had already recovered. It seems that she is going to make it up to the readers. In this case, let's write a sweet article that is so sweet that it won't cause any crime. Shen Yunzhi opened the editing page happily. At this moment, she was humming a little tune leisurely. After all, she was in a very sweet mood right now. In her writing, she always insists that if she can be normal, don't be ridiculous, if she can explain, don't be arrogant, and if she can be happy, don't have regrets. After all, there are enough regrets in real life, and she hopes to give everyone she writes a happy ending. These characters will definitely be happy, but it is not limited to love. Anything that is rewarding, involved and has a process can make people feel happy. This is why she has a loyal following of readers. This time she plans to write an article about both men and women having sweet mouths. The first reason she chose this was because she really felt the sweetness of love, and the second reason was because she had not written many articles of this type before, and now that she has some life experience, she might be able to write well. With this thought in her mind, she did so. She was editing the words, but she couldn't keep the corners of her mouth down. Shen Yunzhi now understands how others see Tianwen rolling on the bed. She was so immersed in writing that she didn't notice the passage of time, and it was already afternoon. She didn't even know that Fu Runze was back. Fu Runze had just entered the house. He expected to receive a big hug from his beloved wife, but he didn't expect to see even a single figure. The president said he was very angry. I called my wife several times but didn't hear Shen Yunzhi's answer, and I couldn't help but feel a little strange. He now completely trusted Shen Yunzhi. He searched around the house but couldn't find his wife. Until I opened the door of the study room, I saw Shen Yunzhi casually wearing a bun, smiling with a worthless face, and kept typing on the keyboard. She must have been working on the computer for a long time, so Fu Runze walked up to her and covered her eyes with his hands. Are your eyes sore? Shen Yunzhi suddenly felt that her vision went dark, and when she smelled Fu Runze's good smell, she knew that her husband was back. What will you do if I say you're sore? Shen Yunzhi couldn't help but want to tease him. After Fu Runze listened to her words, Fu Runze changed his direction, facing her directly, bent down and kissed her eyes gently. Shen Yunzhi didn't expect him to come out like this, so she opened her mouth in shock. Fu Runze naturally did not miss this opportunity and started fighting from his eyes to his mouth. He still gently covered her eyes with his hands, fearing that she might not be able to bear the light when she suddenly saw it. After being affectionate for a while, Fu Runze picked her up and walked to the sofa. Are you hungry? Baby, kind of. When Fu Runze heard the answer, he immediately called Aunt Lin to prepare dinner. The baby can eat it after a while. I have already solved Guizhou and Xinyan. Fu Runze was quite curious about Shen Yunzhi's reaction when he heard this. Mr. Fu admitted that he had no other idea, he just wanted to see if his wife would praise his inefficiency and give him a big kiss. When she heard Fu Runze's words, she was indeed shocked by his efficiency, but she was also curious about how he solved it and what the outcome was for those two scumbags. How did you do it? Shen Yunzhi asked, blinking her big eyes. Want to know? Give me some indication. Shen Yunzhi didn't react for a while. What was his reaction? Why does A speak so strangely? She looked at Fu Runze in confusion, as if she suddenly understood. After all, President Fu's eyes were too hot at the moment. If she didn't move, her life would be at risk. Hey, this man is really getting worse and worse. But she had to admit that she really loved him. I am very grateful that someone can read my book. My family is really touched. It's just that something happened at home some time ago, and I was running around. I went to college these days, so there has been no update. I haven't clicked on a tomato for a long time, and I was really touched when I saw someone leaving a message for me. I will continue to work hard to write in the future. As long as there is one person who will write it down. Shen Yunzhi will now know that he will not tell her unless he achieves his goal. She kissed him on the lips. She originally thought that Fu Runze would seize the initiative and kiss her deeply, but to her surprise, he seemed to be unable to move and just remained motionless. It seems that I have to bite the bullet. Shen Yunzhi recalled the way Fu Runze kissed her in the past, and moved a little on his lips. At this moment, there was no feeling of kiss at all, only the friction of lips touching lips. She was a little annoyed by the kiss, but Fu Runze still seemed to let her manipulate him. Shen Yunzhi suddenly wanted to tease him. She gently left the man's lips, and then attached herself to them nonchalantly. She stretched out a little bit of her tongue and lightly tapped the man's lips. Just this, Fu Run's eyes suddenly changed. His big hand touched Shen Yunzhi's neck and pressed her lips forcefully. He pried her mouth open, and then the tips of his tongues collided with each other. They kissed like this for more than 10 minutes, until Shen Yunzhi couldn't bear it anymore and told him to stop, and then he reluctantly let go of Shen Yunzhi. Didn't I tell you that I kissed you? You violated the law. Shen Yunzhi's lips were red and swollen at the moment, and her words gave people a coquettish feeling. Fu Runze felt like his heart was about to melt. What should I do if my wife is too cute? Waiting online is urgent, it was my fault. I will follow the rules next time, okay? How could she not know what this dog man was thinking about all day long? Isn't this just taking advantage of yourself? You think beautifully, I'm hungry. The feeling of hunger wasn't that strong just now. After kissing for a while, she clearly felt her stomach protesting. Can you take my baby to dinner? Fu Runze picked her up gently, walked to the dining table and put her down gently. After eating the entire meal, Shen Yunzhi felt like a useless person. There was no need to pick up any vegetables. When Fu Runze saw that her bowl was a little empty, he picked up a bunch of them for her. Although she loved these dishes, she couldn't bear to eat them this way. Hey, what should I do if my husband loves me too much? It's a rush to wait online. After all, she noticed that Fu Runze didn't eat well. I just focused on picking up food for myself. Is this the reason why Boss Ba often has stomach problems? No, as long as she is here, this bitch must eat well. You were taking care of me just now, and I didn't even see you eating. I'm not hungry. Before Fu Runze could finish his words, he saw Shen Yunzhi folding his arms, as if he would get out of bed if he didn't eat today. I'm a little hungry. President Fu was timidly sitting at the dining table and eating obediently. After all, a man who doesn't want to sleep with his wife is not a good husband. As long as he can sleep with his wife, he can do whatever he wants. When Shen Yunzhi was almost done eating, she couldn't help but ask about the results of those two scumbags. I have already stated that as the president, you have to keep your word. Fu Runze had no intention of hiding it from her. The two of them have done a lot of bad things. In addition, Gu Yizhou and Shen Yang gathered people for prostitution. We took this opportunity to get them in at once. All the charges will be proven and they will never be able to turn over. After listening to Fu Runze's words, she felt really refreshed at the moment. On a whim, I turned on my phone and played a piece of music. It's so much better than this Bayou. Twice better. Mr. Fu is in a very confused mood at the moment. What should I do if my wife is too naughty? Waiting online is urgent, however, he was quite satisfied with his wife's reaction, which was straightforward and unpretentious. Shen Yunzhi would be really happy now. After all, killing those two scumbags was something she had wanted to do for a long time. Although she really wanted to do it herself, she was afraid that it would involve too much and end up messing up the matter. Since her husband is so capable, of course she can safely leave this matter to Fu Runze. Seeing his wife so happy, he couldn't help but feel better. Then he took Shen Yunzhi's hand and walked to the garden of his home to eat for a while. His big hand held Shen Yunzhi's small hand, and there was a feeling of tranquility in the ears. Life is enough. But his wife had no such intention. She walked into the garden and picked a pink flower. Fu Runze had an ominous premonition. Watching her walking towards him step by step, he completely understood her intention at this moment. A certain CEO declares here that he will never let that flower appear on his head. Lower your head. Shen Yunzhi was holding the flower and trying to put it on his head. Don't even think about it. Fu Runze stepped back step by step. The result was that Fu Runze took a step back and she took a step forward. If others saw this scene, they would really not believe that the dignified CEO of the Fu Group would actually be helpless with a little girl. Seeing that Fu Runze kept giving in, Shen Yunzhi had no patience anymore. Would you let me do it? You have to take this flower if you want it. If you don't want it, your wife shouldn't take it either. As soon as she finished speaking, the flower in her hand suddenly went to Fu Runze's head. President Fu, do your subordinates know that you are so unruly? What does someone mean by moral integrity? He only knows that his wife is the most important. I sent it just a flower? Even if there are 10 or 100 flowers, he will still accept them. But today his little wife threatened him twice, and it was time to give her some color. Baby, do you like it? Although Fu Runze is a grown man, it does not affect his appearance at all. On the contrary, it has a seductive flavor. Shen Yunzhi was a little confused for a moment. The baby has seen it, can you give me a kiss? He didn't care whether Shen Yunzhi answered or not, it was all his anyway. Well. His kiss today was fierce, forcefully prying open Shen Yunzhi's teeth and instantly capturing her tongue. They kissed like this for a long time, until Shen Yunzhi couldn't breathe, and he reluctantly let her go. Baby, please give it to me, please? Shen Yunzhi blinked her big eyes, but she was thinking how could this man be in heat even after being kissed, but she was in a good mood now, so she didn't answer the man's words and kissed him directly on the lips. Then it got out of hand. Woohoo, I'm going to be eaten dry again. Sure enough, the word sex has a knife on its head, but this made Aunt Lin extremely happy. The young lady and the young master have a good relationship. It's really eye-catching to see handsome men and beautiful women falling in love together, isn't it? Her young lady and young master are the best match. It seems that the young lady will have to take good care of her body from now on. Aunt Lin thought so and immediately took action. After all, it was her duty to protect her two masters. Little did he know that Shen Yunzhi's intestines were filled with regret. You shouldn't tease this bitch, after all, you know his virtues. But there is no use regretting. This night finally belonged to Fu Runze. When Shen Yunzhi woke up again, it was already the next morning. Recalling what happened last night, she wanted to strangle Fu Runze to death. The dog man forced him to call him various names he was satisfied with, and he said no more. But Fu Runze still kept doing it as if he was tireless. Until the end, she was unconscious. She touched her side and found that the person was gone. She probably went to the company. Fu Runze had been with her all this time and had not taken care of the company's affairs. His assistant was probably about to cry. She fumbled to get up. Although she had communicated with Fu Runze many times about that aspect, he was too fierce last night. Her legs were a little weak now. It seems that he needs to control himself, otherwise his small body won't be able to bear it. However, a president working in the company doesn't think so. I came to the company early this morning, feeling refreshed. Even the front desk staff felt that their president was not as serious as usual. Fu Runze was sitting in the office at the moment and could hardly read a word. All he could think about was seeing his wife. But if he didn't work, he couldn't make money, and if he couldn't make money, he couldn't support his wife. This couldn't happen. So he could only force himself to calm down and concentrate on his work. While he was immersed in his work, his cell phone rang. What's the matter? He pulled his tie impatiently. Third brother, I heard from Liu that you got the beauty, the man on the other end said excitedly. If you have something to say, just say it. Well, let's meet my sister-in-law formally. This can't be blamed on him. It's mainly because his brother has been hurt by love before. This time he finally met the right person, and he must celebrate for him, sure. What time? Fu Runze was willing to stop and listen to him. Take your wife out. How face-saving. He had to inform his wife in advance, and he didn't know if she had gotten up yet. So he gave her a call. Baby, are you awake? It's up, it's up. She felt sweet in her heart when she heard Fu Runze's voice. Aze, why did you call me today? Is there something wrong? Can't I call you if nothing happens? It was a little unhappy at the moment. Isn't it natural to contact his wife? No, I'm just being polite. Well, I do have something to do. My friends want to get together tonight. You can't let me go alone, can you, since I have a family? This bastard keeps talking nonsense all day long. Since it's your friend, then of course you should go. His wife doesn't want to go? No way, she has to go with him tied up. Baby, I'm working hard, I'm keeping fit, I'm paying attention to management. Where did all this come from? Stop. What do you want to say? Baby, do you dislike me for embarrassing you? It's true that Wu Yu's father visited Wu Yu's grave. Wu Yu died. Can we still have a more sincere chat these days? Go, that's it. Shen Yunzhi really couldn't do anything to him. Baby, if you really don't want to, don't force it, it's my problem, Fu. Run. Zay. If you say one more thing, you'll be kicked out of the house. She just finished saying this, and Fu Runze immediately fell silent. He didn't dare to say a word and just waited for Shen Yunzhi to speak first. Shen Yunzhi was really angry and laughed, and hung up the phone without any nostalgia. Just for this bitch man to get used to. When Fu Runze thought about going out with his wife in a prestigious position, he instantly became very motivated. He was no longer worried about any job and became the CEO of Fu, who regarded work as his life. Of course, if you ignore the fact that his eyes occasionally scan the time, he would look more like the aloof president he used to be. After talking to Fu Runze on the phone, she couldn't help but want to laugh. Why did she feel that Ace was becoming more and more childish? Not only childish, but also a little T. He said he wanted to meet his friends, so naturally they were the ones he played best within the circle. Well, this is a bit troublesome. Although the problem between her and Ace has been solved long ago, I guess those people still have a low impression of her. But I can take this opportunity to explain it again. After all, this is A's friend. Let alone a friend, she should let everyone who knows the inside story understand the inside story. Shen Yunzhi loves Fu Runze deeply and will make up for all the debt she owes him in this life. However, his few friends are still a bit tricky. After all, he has learned from past mistakes. In order not to embarrass Fu Runze, Mrs. Fu was very serious about telling herself right now. Be beautiful, be elegant, be dignified, and be general. This is to meet his friends, not his parents, so let's talk about beauty first. She chose a dress and put on light makeup beautifully. Just wait to go to the battlefield now. Fu Runze came back before waiting for a while. The moment she opened the door, Shen Yunzhi was stunned. I have to say that this man is really handsome. Ace, you're back. Hug me quickly. Before Fu Runze could react, there was a soft and waxy little girl in his arms. At this moment, he also hugged the little girl tightly. I have to say that after working all day, hugging my wife when I came back seemed like everything was worth it. The baby is so beautiful today. Although he was hugged by the little girl as soon as he came back, he also noticed the little girl's makeup. I have to say that his baby looks so good looking. Shen Yunzhi was naturally in a good mood at the moment when her man praised her for her beauty. That's not because I'm going to meet your friends. I don't want to embarrass you. She also openly admitted that she dressed up specially today. But Fu Runze felt a little uncomfortable when he heard this. She didn't embarrass herself. It was his honor to receive a gift from God and give him such a little fairy. Baby, you have never embarrassed me at any time. There is no need to consider my face. Shen Yunzhi wanted to say something but was interrupted by him again. It's because I love you very much, it's because I can't live without you, and it's because I can't live without you. You just need to be yourself, and leave the rest to me. Today, I want you to meet my friend for my own selfish reasons, because I want. Fu Runze was at a loss for words, but Shen Yunzhi heard it now and teased him. By the way, is that what you want? Huh? Okay, it's almost time, we should set off. Ace is trying to hide something from me? This will make me very sad. So Ace, tell me what it is, okay? She would approach Fu Runze and stand on tiptoes to reach his ear. Fu Runze was a little unable to resist now, and his ears were coated with a layer of pink. He couldn't help but said, I want to show off, I want to appear with my wife. When he didn't say anything, Shen Yunzhi kept forcing him to say it. Now that he had revealed everything, Shen Yunzhi felt embarrassed. Knowing that this man is a love brain, how could you have imagined that he is also a conspicuous person? Then let me give you this opportunity to show off, okay?